What's up, y'all? Goofy Rexy here, and hope everybody is doing well. And wanted to do an updated video on the channel here for my top 10 Red Star promotion recommendations here. So the top 10 characters that you should prioritize your Red Star promotion credits on. Now, I did this video a little while ago. When I say a little while ago, back in November, and we talked about some top 10 characters here. A lot has changed, obviously, right, since November. So we're going to be doing an updated list. Ironically, by the way, we're literally wearing the same exact shirt, minus the headphones, and I think we had a different background just now. But yeah, I mean, either way, I kind of endeavor here to make this video a little bit more frequently, probably every 2 to 3 months or so, as things do change. But I do still want to give some time for things to change, right? So I think 2-3 months is probably an ideal place where I'll go for these top Red Star promotional videos. But let's dive into it. This is going to be in no particular order here, but the first character on my list is Captain America Sam. Love Captain America Sam. I think there's a lot that he provides to my roster here. I think to a lot of players' rosters. So for these skill tech Doom raids, using the Secret Avengers team with Kestrel against these Doom teams in war, find a lot of really good value here from Captain Sam. Number one, the Red Star promotions on him. As you can see, I have him at 6 Red Stars. Usually I promote him into 6 Red Stars. Usually that's where I stop with Red Star promotions. I think going to 7 is a little too steep. I think I've only done that for one character, and that's Black Bolt, and that was because Black Bolt was just amazing back then. But usually that's where I kind of stop. But let's back on Captain Sam and the Red Star impact here, right? So for Captain America Sam, I mean, high health pool, 898,000 health here, as you can see with my character now at G16. His damage is not crazy high, but keep in mind he's getting that offense up from Sharon Carter 100% of the time in these Doom raids, and then also 50% of the time outside of Doom raids as well. So, you know, that damage output can change and can be even better. And pretty good armor as well, so being able to negate a lot of damage. He's also getting these deflects, and then there's the defense ups, right? So he's also as well able to really negate a lot of the damage that he's intaking. So when he has that taunt up, kind of hard to be able to kind of break him down, and then also to get through him. And also he has because of the flex, you know, he resists quite a bit as well in the content that I'm seeing him, that I'm using him in. The ultimate ability, 450% damage. One of my favorite things to do right now with Captain Sam in these skill Doom raids is to use him with Shang-Chi and Zemo and yeah, I mean, in the second node, man, I mean, using Zemo to ability block Silver Surfer, then having Kestrel do her special, then having Shang-Chi do his ultimate, and then just watch Captain America Sam clean up with that ultimate ability. The higher Red Stars just make it so insane. Basic is good. All of his skills really are pretty good and largely impactful. I like the clear on his basic ability as well, being able to clear one positive effect and then do additional damage. So Captain Sam, for me, definitely a recommended Red Star promotional character. All right, next character on the list is Bishop. Now, the X-Men team is kind of started falling from grace a little bit, right? Because they're not performing as well in these Doom raids right now at difficulty 2.2 and 2.3. I'm doing 2.2 right now. And the mutant Doom raids, the mutant section, it's an RNG fest, man. There's just really not much that you can control. Sometimes it's just, who's the Bishop gonna hit this time? Okay, just leave Bishop alone. Stop bothering him. We don't want him to get his charges, right? So it just becomes such a massive RNG fest. But the bigger your Bishop is, the better off or better opportunity that you do have in these nodes, because he essentially, if you lose him, you're losing 50% of your damage, basically, right? He just brings so much damage to the team. His ultimate can hit really hard because of the charges, especially also when he has offense up. I mean, if he crits here, this can crit pretty high. Striker's the better ISO, but if he does crit, it's pretty high. He will always crit with a special ability. When Jubilee is there, does 400% damage. He has really low cooldowns. So that damage output from Bishop is just so impactful for your team, and also gives them a little bit more survivability. Now, in comparison to Captain Sam, the 427,000 health is nothing in comparison to Captain Sam, but he does have the damage reduction. So if Iceman's there and he has the slows, the enemy team's damage is reduced by 30%. And also because of Bishop's passive, he does take in, I believe it's a negative Yeah, gain 20% damage reduction. So that's a total of 50% damage reduction that, Bishop is receiving. Now, I think he has to have a taunt, right? So I think it's, while this character has taunt, 20% damage reduction. So he does need to have a taunt on him in order to be able to reduce that damage. But either way, Bishop, like I said, pretty good character here, really important for your Axeman team. So you want to make sure that you have some high red stars on him as well. All right, next character on this list is Shang-Chi. And I don't understand why his ultimate hits so hard. I understand it based on the math, right? But the red stars on him just makes it so much more impactful, right? Just using the ultimate here, I talked about doing this, using him in the skill doom raids already, right? So attacking for 450% damage, the additional 75% damage per positive effect from the primary target. The reduction of the speed bar is a nice, great addition, right? He's also speeding himself up and the heroes for higher team. This ultimate ability here is just, it's cleaning house. It's cleaning house, man. It's completely cleaning house. It's probably my favorite. It's my favorite animation right now in the game. Watching him doing this ultimate ability is probably my favorite animation in the game. When I'm using it, when it's being used against me, I'm usually largely terrified. But using the ultimate ability with Shang, I know right now somebody talked to me about how they're using them they're just starting a new account and they're using him in the beginner game, and that he's pretty much basically just wipes the floor. He has really low cooldowns with his abilities as well, both his special and then also his ultimate 3-turn cooldown with the old. Special is also a 4-turn cooldown. He does pretty decent damage here. He can clear a negative effect from other allies. He can apply counter. He's filling speed bar. He's getting some heals. Seriously, man, Shang-Chi definitely well worth the upgrade here. It's amazing. All right, the next character on this list is Cloak, and we're kind of going to talk about Dagger too. Dagger is also on this list as well. So I think Cloak and Dagger definitely are standouts for Red Star promotional credits. I do want to say this, that there is a little bit of a drawback though to having higher red stars on Cloak and Dagger, and that sometimes they can kill characters a little bit too fast in these Doom raids, and then that can also affect your cooldowns, right? So if you're going into another node where Cloak doesn't have his ult available, or Dagger doesn't have her ult available, or even their specials right available, then it can be pretty impactful, especially also if they kill a couple characters and then Deathpool then kills them with the passive, then you're not getting the ability energy, because Deathpool's passive does not give ability energy when she kills with her passive. So the conundrum there. But either way, having high red stars on these two characters, Cloak and then also Dagger, the ultimate does do a lot of damage, right? It also helps out Cloak quite a bit as well, having high red stars on him to make sure that he can land those negative effects from the ultimate. So with the ultimate, he can land blind, defense down, disrupted, offense down, slow. So having the higher red stars on him will increase his focus. Now his focus is pretty good already. 27,000 right now is what we're reading from my roster here. That's my character at 85 in G16. So his focus is pretty good already, but definitely having the higher focus here will help to make sure that he's able to land those negative effects. Also the special, he can clear a positive effect off an enemy. He can also do some additional damage, there's some additional negative effects here with the special as well. So really for me, Cloak and Dagger are good red star promotions because of just the pure raw damage that they're able to do as a tandem together. Dagger, I would probably prioritize the higher red stars on, because Dagger has more damage output. So if you care more about the damage output, then I would definitely go with Dagger. She has the crits too. If you're running a Raider ISO on her, you have the higher crit chance. And I've seen Dagger crit for like 900k damage on a primary target before. So it's pretty insane having some high red stars on her. So definitely those two characters definitely make this list for me. All right, next character on the list, Kestrel. So I don't know, I feel like we don't talk about Kestrel a lot anymore, and I think that a lot of that just has more to do with like recency bias, right? Where it's just more of a, hey, we're seeing these newer characters, and these newer characters are probably a little bit more flashy. But in a lot of ways, Kestrel to me still is incredibly impactful and a flashy character. Probably individually, like by herself, right? Like by herself, probably still the best character, or one of the best characters in the game, in my opinion. So having high red stars on her is pretty good. I run the Raider ISO on her because I do like the higher crit chance with her. And I like when she crits, basically, right? Whenever she crits, there's a lot of damage that's there. I like her also being able to put out these vulnerables in these raids. So for skill doom raids, for the tech doom raids, I like her being able to actually throughout the crits, because then I can take advantage of the vulnerables with like doom. So I typically tend to like having the Raider ISO on her. But insanely impactful damage you're gonna get from Kestrel. Also the pings, well, she's in it for 400% damage, right, with her passive ability. If an enemy with defense down is attack the most injured enemy for 400% damage. So you're getting a high damage output from her, and the higher red stars that you put on her, then the more damage she's going to be able to do, which is definitely going to be able to help you out in pretty much basically any content that you're doing. She's still a largely plug and play character. She's still, I guess, you're using her in probably multiple areas of the game, right? So you're using her in 2 sections of the Doom raids. You're using her in war. Before probably Darkhold, you're probably also using her there as well with Eternals for some of the counters. So for me personally, yes, Kestrel definitely does make this list as being a top priority character to put red stars on. All right, next character on the list, we're going to talk about the Eternals, right? So Cersei and Icarus, we're going to talk about them together. Both of these characters are on this list. So I think in terms of priority upgrades, you're probably going to want to prioritize higher red stars on Icarus. He has the higher damage output with his ultimate. So therefore, you're going to want to prioritize putting those higher red stars on Icarus just for the pure raw damage. But having higher red stars on Cersei as well is still going to be helpful and impactful. I just saw that we could actually click this button on Cersei. I'm going to hold off because I don't believe that I have enough to upgrade both Cersei and Icarus yet to G16. And I believe in scarcity mechanics. So I'm going to hold off on clicking that button there. But yeah, I don't think both of these characters are definitely worthy of having good red stars. Now, they are no longer probably going to be like the necessary component to your arena team. I do still think that they're going to be usable in arena. I will say that now. I think that there's still going to be some impact that they can have there. There's probably going to be some comps that you're going to see coming out a little bit later. I think there's one right now with like Mr. Sinister and the Eternals with Icarus, Cersei, and I believe like Morgan Le Fay, right? So like there is still like a place where they can actually have some impact in the game right now, even if you don't have a full Darkhold team. So therefore, I do still think that they definitely do warrant the red stars. But more so, the reason why I'm saying red stars on them is for your Doom raids, right? If you're doing Doom raids every day, the Eternals with New Warriors are still going to be your best option. You want to have high red stars on them. The speed bar reduction, the damage, the clearing of buffs. I mean, you're gonna get a lot of really solid return on investment by putting high red stars on Icarus and Cersei. So higher priority red stars on Icarus, but still both of these characters I still do think are worth your red star promotions. All right, next character on my list, we talked about Dagger already. I'm gonna talk about Omega Red, and I like Omega Red still. I think, now you may say, well, Goofy, what about my Heroes for Hire counter where I'm using Omega Red and I need Omega Red to have less health than Sabretooth because I'm worried about him getting ability blocked by Misty? I will say that there's a workaround to that. You can actually use Omega Red to apply ability block on Misty Knight, so therefore she doesn't apply ability block to your Omega Red. You will probably want to have, right now what I'm doing is I'm actually running the Skirmisher ISO. Now I don't have that issue. My Sabretooth still has a higher health pool, so going up against these Heroes for Hire teams, my Sabretooth is actually still higher health there, so I'm able to ability block Shang-Chi. But I've found that even in some of those matchups that I'm not able to land the ability block on Shang-Chi, so that's the reason why I actually do have the Skirmisher ISO on him. Maybe once I get him to level 85 and 16 or 85 and 15 like where he is right now, then we'll probably be fine there. But I just found that Skirmisher, optimally, I would love to run Striker on him because it's better, but man, when you got to make some tough decisions, man, when you're doing these war attacks where you don't want to lose them because you just want to be 100% efficient in your war attack. So I found Skirmisher to be the better ISO right now on him. But he has a lot of impactful areas, not just in war, not just against Young Avengers, not just against Heroes Fire, not just against some of these internal comps, but he also has a really a large impact in Doom Raid. So for those mutant sections, which we just talked about, you can use Omega Red to land ability block and trauma on Doom, which is another reason why, by the way, you're probably going to want to have the Skirmisher ISO on him, because if you try to land it with the Striker ISO at Doom 2.2 and higher, you're probably not going to be able to land the ability block on Doom, or you're going to have to keep on backing out and going back in order to be able to do so. So therefore, Omega Red finds some value there even outside of raids. I've also heard that he's pretty good in content like your like Dark Dimension, right, which is very important for you to be able to get Dormammu. So therefore, Omega Red is a character there that having higher red stars on is going to be incredibly impactful for game modes like that. And let's not also forget, guys, Cosmic Crucible is going to be coming out sometime soon. A lot of these characters that I just talked about are probably going to be impactful in those areas as well. So having these higher red stars and these insanely good characters is probably going to be really important, right? All right, next character, last character on my list is going to be Wong. And yeah, having a big Wong, guys, is going to be the reason why you're probably gonna be able to land, right, some of these why you're gonna be able to win some of these mirror matches, right? Yeah, the Wong is I've found it so far that doing these mirror matches, that if their Wong is like 150k, which I'm seeing in my arena shard right now, it's not a great experience. I can still win the matchup, but it's going to come down right down to the very, very, very wire, right? So having higher red stars on Wong definitely helps me. It will definitely help anyone that can, you know, put some higher red star promotions on them. So therefore, it's kind of going to be going back to that situation again where it's Cull Obsidian, and having higher red stars on Cull Obsidian will help you to win your matchups. It's going to be the same thing as well with Wong. Now, I mean, he has really high, we'll talk about some stats, right? So he has really high health, 507, pretty decent health, right? But health is not just the only thing. He's also getting barrier. He's getting defense up. He has pretty decent armor, so he's negating damage as well, right? So as an individual character outside of the Darkhold team, probably not great. However, on the Darkhold team, where you're going to be doing 5 attacks every single day with them or against them, pretty important to have these high red stars on it. So in my opinion, incredibly impactful to have the high red stars on Wong. That's what I'm seeing so far. That's the reason why he's on this list. Now, some honorable mentions I thought about, so like I thought about Deathpool, but the reason why, like, I have high red stars on Deathpool, but to be honest with you, like, sometimes this is a little bit of like a negative thing, because her passive is going to hit harder because she has the higher red stars, and I'm not going to tell you it's terrible. Like, having high red stars on Deathpool is like good overall, but sometimes she kills with her passive. Whenever she kills with her passive ability, I don't get the ability energy, right? So it kind of does suck. Like, I don't know if that's a bug or if it's just a thing. Actually, passives don't trigger other passives, right? So I guess that's the reason why it works that way. But that's the reason why I left her off this list, but she's an honorable mention if you want to put some red stars on her. Ghost Spider, I actually really like red stars on. Her passive here, when an enemy attacks a Web Warrior ally, attack the enemy for 250% damage. Because they gain offense up quite a bit because they're dodging and Spider-Punk is giving them offense up in these raids, I'm seeing that she can sometimes ping for like 400k, 500k. It's pretty cool. So I do like the high red stars on her. She's also by far the one that has the highest damage on the team. Pretty decent health pool as well. Decent armor too. So some negation of damage there. And her ultimate ability, once again, with offense up, this does a decent amount of damage as well. So I do like red stars on Ghost Spider, but just keep in mind that that's just going to be a raid content thing for you, as to where the other characters that I mentioned up top here, with respect to maybe Bishop, but Bishop still, even in war, is pretty good. With respect to the other characters here, and maybe Bishop and Wong, right? All these other characters do have some multifaceted usages here, as to where Ghost Spider, other than war defense, outside of raids, that you're probably not going to get like a crazy amount of impact there. And then I also thought about starting with T'Challa. Now I'm on the fence about starting with T'Challa. A lot of it is because I don't use them a lot, so maybe I don't get the full impact of it. But starting with T'Challa, I do like for his damage. I think he has pretty good damage, 40k damage. I don't like him for the health pool though, but of course having higher red stars on him is definitely going to be helpful. But I find that without the high red stars on T'Challa, his focus can be a little bit of an issue, right? So if you want to be able to land, let's say the apply the blind with a special ability, and then subsequently, right, be able to then steal the 2 ability energy, you're probably going to want to have some high red stars on him in order to be able to do that. If you want to be able to copy all positive effects, or, you know what I mean, well, actually you can copy, but you're going to want to have some, because of his focus, his low focus, even with the skirmisher ISO on him, I definitely think that you're going to want to have some high red stars there for T'Challa. So therefore, and because of the damage output, I thought that he would be a good honorable mention character. But that's the reason why he's an honorable mention. Doctor Strange Heartless is also an honorable mention character as well. But yeah, we're gonna end it there. We're gonna end the list there, guys. I'm curious, what are your thoughts? Who do you think that maybe I left off the list? Who do you think that I have on the list that you're like, Goofy, you probably should take that character off the list? Maybe they're not as impactful, but let me know. Want to know what your guys' thoughts are. Appreciate you watching the video, and until next time, y'all be blessed. Y'all be safe. Bye.